Well, I was born in Belfast in north of Ireland. That's a great place to come from, or some people would say leave behind, it just depends. We've been here in Calgary since 1982 as a family. I had the good fortune to come here in 1973 on a NATO scholarship to the university. I spent the summer here, but we didn't migrate here until 82. I've been here 32 years, more or less. I've been very active in the ASME since 1982 in the offshore mechanics and Arctic engineering group, because the Arctic was a big part of my life then. But anyway, the long and the short of it was that we would have lunchtime meetings here. We'd have the banner for OMAE. We'd have a big semi-submersible and all these seagulls flying all over the place. It was totally irrelevant to the people here in Calgary. And so we thought, you know, it's time perhaps to set up something that's more pipeline focused. And so that was Mo's idea, not mine, but I got to drive it forward. And that was helping to get the 100 signatures that we needed to get ASME to approve a subdivision. And then we became the fastest growing division actually ever in ASME history. We became a division within 3 years, which was remarkable. But a lot of people helped in that. Carl Jaskin, I think, got of the 100 signatures, I think Carl got 95 of them, or pretty close. Because I've only got 2 close friends, Mo and Mike, and they signed up. Well, I'm an adjunct professor at the university, which gives me a lot of freedom to teach, either on the master's program or in short courses. And I do that and do it for a few other groups, and that allows me to travel quite a bit worldwide. I enjoy that very much. Sometimes I get to take my wife. But it's given me an opportunity to do a lot of traveling actually and training and working in different areas, different cultures, and that's been great. Always trying to balance off. I've never ever, in all the traveling I've had to do or management work I've had to do, which required long hours, I've always been pretty careful to watch that it really didn't interfere with quality family time, because it's very valuable, very important to me. Well, you know, people don't. I was very fortunate that, I mean, I know you don't get to pick your parents, but were I given that choice, I wouldn't have picked anybody else. They were very formative, or very helpful to me when I was growing up. My mother and father always believed in us as boys and gave us opportunity, encouraged us at school. My father worked in the shipyard. His father worked in the shipyard before him, and eventually I worked in the same shipyard. My grandfather worked in the Titanic. My mother was, again, a homemaker, always concerned and on the lookout for us, a great champion for us at school. You know, a person of great moral integrity and set a moral compass for us as boys that we've been fortunate never to lose. Some people wonder about what the greatest accomplishments would be for in their life, and mine was a 4.5-year interesting project. A lot of heartbreak, a lot of ups and downs, but that was the pursuit of my wife. She's also from Belfast. I courted her for 4.5 years and persuaded her to marry me, and so I'm delighted that she did that. So we've been married almost 40 years. Have 2 kids, grown up with, they're starting their own families now, which is great. So we're pretty close. Well, I think there's been a lot of change in the industry, and managing change effectively. Setting a very clear vision for people has been a challenge in times where the social contract has really been torn up for a lot of people. They have to look out for their own future instead of, when you work for a public utility, it usually meant you had a job for life. I think the industry has to position itself better in the public mind. It's got to win back confidence from the public. There's a tremendous responsibility. Like 97% of the hydrocarbons in Canada are transported by pipelines, and that has to continue to be the case. So we have to get the social license to operate, and that means proving up to people that we actually know what we're doing, we say what we do, and we do what we say. So personal integrity, pipeline integrity, they're both intertwined, and so we have to establish that, or re-establish that, I think, in the next 5 years. Well, I think I realized the importance of diversity in creating teams. So having women in the workforce and the group that I was leading was very, very important. And other forms of diversity, cultural diversity, people from different technical backgrounds was very important for me in terms of leadership. And I found that quite stimulating. I always like to create conflict, not create conflict in groups, but encourage conflict, because that's how you make progress. You have to manage it. So I never hire in my own image. I think trying to encourage diversity, promoting real challenging actions within a group is very, very important in any leadership style. Well, if I was advising a young person coming into the industry today, I think I'd say to them, first of all, realize that your personal integrity is number one and never sacrifice that under any circumstances. Probably the second thing would be get yourself a really good grounding in basic engineering principles. The third thing, practice looking at your problem from the perspective of, say, the fellow 2 rungs up in the organization. And the reason I'm saying that is because he'll be asking your boss a bunch of questions, and you need to do enough work to let your boss give him the right answers to that. Career-wise, accomplishing, well, I think being able to get the division going up and running the pipeline systems division in ASME has been a real accomplishment, not just for me, of course, because I had very little to do with it, but I was really proud of the fact we were able to get up and going. At this place where we're standing now with the Pipeline Engineering Centre,